My guest is Udi Mokady, who's CEO of CyberArk. Welcome, Udi.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Udi, this is the first time we've had a chance to meet and talk since CyberArk went public. Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. It was a big event for us and our customers and all the employees that were us for many years.
Yeah, and the timing seemed to be just right. It came into the market at the right time. Last time we talked, it was getting pretty obvious that you were preparing for that process. What's happened, to the business and the market throughout that process for you?
So CyberArk always wanted to be an independent, large company, and our customers have asked us because we sell mission-critical software. Hey, CyberArk, we need you to be there around. So going public was really a big event for us and for our customers. We were always a very real company, real revenues and real growth, and even real profitability. We were profitable for more than 4 years. So it was almost a natural thing for us to become a public entity that can then continue to invest in its growth and in innovation, which I think is the most important thing to do in the information security space.
So take us back to what CyberArk does for your customers.
So Cyber creates a whole new layer of security on the inside. We call it privileged account security, which puts controls, monitoring, and detection all around activity with credentials and privileged accounts. Privileged accounts are built into every piece of the IT infrastructure and are the most common exploited piece in any sophisticated attack because attackers, once on the inside, they need credentials to move around and the lateral movement and get to the data they're trying to steal.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of the recent startups are all about catching that lateral motion, tons and tons of infrastructure to capture information and then apply security analytics so you can tell when that's happening. And one can't help but thinking, well, if only there weren't these privileged accounts that were just sitting there with commonly used passwords.
Yeah, CyberArk is sitting in a very critical junction because attackers need credentials and privilege escalation to move around. We actually give the customers something that puts control over that. We vault them, we lock those credentials. So it's actually a security measure that they can feel and measure. And can see how they've hardened their infrastructure. And our new privileged threat analytics also gives them the ability to detect anomalies. It means there is somebody with strong access doing something anomalous, which complements their other solutions for tracking everything that's going on. We're giving them meaningful alerts on top of the proactive security.
And that level of alert should pop right to the top of any SIM, right? If somebody already has privileged access.
Right. We say we feed it directly to the SIM, and we've created those integrations. We even have integrations where we can take some information for correlation from the SIM. But yes, these when we alert, it means that at a minimum it's a rogue employee. It could also be a malicious insider or an advanced attacker that has grabbed the credential and is going after the data.
So I'm a IT director at a high asset hedge fund. I probably only have 2 people working for me in IT, but I've got a bunch of servers, and we all know that we've written down what the strong passwords are for all those, and we all reuse them, and we all know who's responsible for which servers. And maybe every month we might actually change those passwords, especially if an employee leaves. So I'm in pretty good shape. Why should I get another product in the house?
So CyberArk is seeing adoption across multiple verticals and company sizes. So of course, traditionally, we've been selling to large enterprises, and we have 40% of the Fortune 100 and 18% of the Global 2000. But we're actually seeing adoption now from multiple sizes because it no longer matters how many IT employees a company has. It matters what kind of IT infrastructure, what's their IT footprint. And in every piece of the IT infrastructure, there are privileged accounts. It could be servers, it could be desktops, it could be applications, even the network devices. If they have a firewall, that firewall comes with an administrative account that can be abused. Mm-hmm. And so putting controls over that is applicable to any type of organization, and we're seeing that kind of adoption.
Does it create one point of failure? Do I now rely on the CyberArk product to get access to all my things?
So I think the beauty with CyberArk is that we weren't born yesterday. We've been doing this for many years, and we've been doing this with the top enterprises in the world. So we've made it a very secure vaulting infrastructure. We made it very scalable and also invested in high availability. And so we made sure that our customers can actually rely on this to be the place where they can secure their credentials. From a security perspective, it has its own security architecture that isolates it from the rest of the network, and also be highly available so that we can support global deployments, and so that the trusted employees can get access to do the IT stuff that they need to do, while keeping the bad guys out and putting controls over what people can do.
If I'm a highly distributed enterprise, maybe in the power gas distribution, and I've got servers all over the place, am I authenticating directly from CyberArk to those remote devices, or do I have to deploy things?
So we actually create a proxy-based architecture where we can create the direct connection to those distributed facilities. It's a very important defense point. It creates an isolation layer that even if an endpoint is infected, there's no way to talk to that target device directly, but actually through the proxy architecture, we can control the session, we can record what's being done, and of course can enforce the policy. We're seeing great adoption in that example in the energy sector and utilities, where they're taking our solutions not just for the IT infrastructure, but also to their operation technology, their OT. It's an exciting new dimension, I think, to the security industry.
In the competitive world, it seems highly unlikely that another privileged account management solution would go public. You kind of you stole everybody's thunder, took the wind out of their sails. But there'll be acquisitions, and IBMs and HPs will do it. How are you going to stay competitive after that happens?
Yeah, I think building CyberArk as a real company has always been about focusing about what customers care about, and innovation, and employees. And in focusing on that, we always got to the areas where we wanted to do. And so as long as we keep our eyes on these things and continuous innovation, we'll keep a leg up on competition. We've had competition from some classic identity management companies. We have competition from private companies, but we were always able to differentiate on the technology side, but also the human level, the interaction that the customers feel when they're dealing with CyberArk. And it's our goal is to always stay ahead of anybody, focus on innovation, because the bad guys are innovating.
Mm-hmm. It seems like a fairly large addressable market just compared to the companies I talk to every day, because rarely do they have anything for, it's one of an analyst's favorite questions, what do you do for privileged accounts? And they always go, what are those? So they have a problem. So how do you penetrate deeper, I guess, into the available market?
Yeah, we sometimes pinch ourselves how greenfield the opportunity is, in the sense that not just small organizations, but you can find Fortune 100 companies that have done nothing to secure their inside, that their entire security strategy has been keeping the bad guys out, and privileged credentials are just vulnerable to exploit from the inside or from attackers. And so we're investing in that go-to-market. Going public has really raised the awareness around CyberArk to go after the top 10,000 organizations of the world and get this out. They can talk to their peers. They can see that CyberArk is the market leader and highly referenced. And of course, we make sure to nurture those customers so that they don't just take us on a tactical piece of their infrastructure, but go deep. Windows, Unix, databases, network devices. We want to secure the entire infrastructure, and that's kind of how we work with the customers. Let's start with what you think now is the most critical, but we'll show you that actually the IT footprint is bigger, and we're there to help you secure all of it.
Any type of identity access management solution tends to have a lot of plumbing and long deployments. How does that process go with CyberArk?
Yeah, when we founded CyberArk, we wanted to be the 180 degrees of the classic identity management, which usually needed $9 of services for every dollar of software. We wanted to be the exact opposite. So the vault itself and the platform is kind of almost self-implementing, where in a couple of days the customer has that infrastructure up and running, and we train our customers to then migrate privileged accounts under management. We have tools now that provide a lot of auto discovery and automation, and we're actually those are free tools to our customers and our partners, but we still keep them on a very strict agile development. We're releasing new abilities to discover what they have, the privileged accounts, and then migrate them under management. So it's very important for us to be privileged account security and to stay away from that old plumbing pain that was associated with identity management.
And what's your sales model? Is it direct combined with channels, or?
Yeah, we use a hybrid model where we have channel partners. We also have direct sales to strategic accounts. As we go further into Europe and Asia, we're primarily working with our channel partners. Here in the U.S., it's very much a hybrid approach that's very pro channels, and we're getting stronger in our relationships with the channels.
And I assume because you've got such large companies as customers now, that automatically makes you global.
We're very global. When
Yeah.
you start a company, we started the company in Israel, we made Boston the headquarters. When in that journey, you understand that the world is round, and we've been always going after it, even as a private company. We now have our own staff in about 25 countries, and we have customers in 65 countries, and very much leveraging the channel to go after that. It makes life much more interesting, exciting, and also for our customers. They can start off in Singapore and then expand to New York or London or wherever else they have offices, and vice versa. They appreciate that global reach. Sometimes you also discover new things, like the drivers in Germany may be a bit. The business drivers in Germany may be different than in the U.S., but underneath it all, they have similar infrastructure. And if you address the problems there, you can actually learn from it and help customers here in the U.S., for example.
So what's next? What's ahead for at least 2015 for CyberArk?
I'm very passionate about continued innovation. We have a new product that's called Privileged Threat Analytics that adds a dimension of detection to everything we do. We're continuing to expand on that to always provide, as I said, meaningful alerts to our customers. With that, we created a cyber research team within our R&D that actually studies the most sophisticated attacks and divides them up to commoditized attacks and the very sophisticated that have to do with how an attack progresses on the inside, to be able to lock up additional attack vectors that the attackers are using. One recent example that led to a product launch is SSH keys. We found that SSH keys are built into every piece of the Unix infrastructure, very much in cloud infrastructure, and are another way to get root access and elevate the scale of the attack. We researched that and found that actually we can put that under management as part of the platform. It's another type of credential. It's not the regular human credential that we used to do, but it's another credential that we can put within the vault, rotate the keys, discover SSH keys, and we launched an SSH key manager a few months ago. And so that's kind of the trajectory, is provide meaningful value to customers on the most critical attack vectors and leverage the platform so that they can get a strong return on their prior investment.
So is that research team also producing reports?
Yes, we actually conducted a threat report in conjunction with the top forensics firms, including Mandiant, Deloitte, and Verizon, to really look at the advanced attacks and see what we're finding, what they're finding. And they came back that first of all, everyone is a target. So it's no longer just the large companies; it's also the supply chain, and surprisingly, law firms, advisory firms,
yeah.
a pipeline manufacturer, in order to get to the energy company. And they found that in 80 to 100% of the forensics breaches that they're called to, privilege accounts were exploited. So it was just massive awareness around privilege account security and the need for that, and how common that is.
It's like the privilege account is the initial target. Once they have that, then they have everything.
The privilege account is where the attack has become successful and opens up the door for the next stage.
Great. Thank you very much, Udi.
Thank you.